you can play in any chapter that you want. So you get to meet people from anywhere.
Phil, what's going on, buddy? How are you doing tonight?
I'm doing great, Matt. How are you doing tonight?
Oh, I'm doing pretty good, man. It's good to be back with everybody on Thursday nights and, kicking off 2024 season's already in full swing. We're moving. So, other places I feel like are still wrapping up 2023, and we are going full steam ahead on 2024. So hope you enjoyed the break.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I don't know if there was a break. It's been, it's been a hectic last month, whatever, getting everything ready for the championship, running the championship and stuff like that. Now getting right into 2024. Membership is strong right now. Guys re-signing up, new members coming in. The momentum is there. Again, the events that are going on right now this weekend, good turnouts. Like I say, I know I'm going down to Clemson with Larry Lee and on the Upstate guys. We got a sold out crowd there. So just looking forward to get on the golf course while the weather is still good here. Just keep kicking butt.
Yeah, absolutely. Over here we've got the Founders Cup this weekend, the proverbial event that started it all, where Jody and I met, became friends, and already have seen a few of the Nashville faces that are tuning in, and so we're looking forward to welcoming you guys tomorrow night. Gonna have a nice dinner on Friday night, and then hopefully we'll not be so welcoming come Saturday morning on the golf course when we come out to defend our title. But a great event this week, the Ryder Cup, the Founders Cup, 20 players from each side, 54 holes. It's going to be a great time. Certainly a great event to really kick us off into 2024, and look forward to a fun weekend. And then you guys will have to do this without me for a couple of weeks because I'm going to be gone.
Yeah. I guess you got a well-deserved honeymoon coming up here. So, again, Chris and I will be manning the home front on that side. But we'll handle everything like we normally do, and no fear from that side. But again, you guys will enjoy your time out in Hawaii, and come back stronger yet.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm looking forward to it. Definitely well-deserved for the wife. There's so many wives in the APT that do so much, whether if you're a player and your wife allows you to play on the weekends, or, the chapter owners, the wives are so involved. I can think of so many that we've spent time with and that help out so much. And, mine certainly, most of you watching, I'm sure, have had some interactions with her, and she works really hard. And so it's going to be good to get away. I am going to honor the request and not turn my phone on. I think I'm allowed to call you or Chris for like 5 minutes a day, maybe. So just to make sure everything's not burning down. But no, we're in good shape. I have ran the membership numbers year over year from last year. It's, to be honest, we're so far ahead of pace. It's not even worth sharing the percentage because it's almost laughable. I don't think people would believe it, but on a record-setting pace in year 4, which is great. We're continuing to work hard, and get back to, what made our tour attractive in the beginning. I think there's some certain values, and we'll continue to go from there. So it appears one of our streams is having issues. So hopefully, it doesn't look like it's Facebook though. So we'll keep going.
Okay.
But if not, we'll be right back. But yeah, lots of stuff to talk about. I'm real excited. A new major venue in November at Dancing Rabbit. I know you've been down there, haven't you?
Yeah.
So why don't you talk a little bit about the golf course? We've got just over 30 spots left as we sit tonight. So get in on it now.
Yeah. I mean, again, 2 good golf courses down there, again, associated with a casino property as well. So there's going to be plenty of opportunity for people to not only enjoy the golfing down there, but also enjoy the nightlife as well, from that standpoint. Again, I played the golf courses a number of years ago, so I don't have really good memories of it. So, but all I know is that they were great golf courses. Again, it was another venue or another tournament that we had every year after year. So it's one that guys love to come back to, guys and gals. Sorry, I see Stevie Frank is on the call tonight or on the listening. So yeah, it's for everybody. Getting very good golf courses, and people will definitely enjoy it. Again, you're going to be down there with our Birmingham and Atlanta chapter owners there, leading the team down there. And again, I expect to see a lot of our players from that area, enjoying the competition and doing well.
Yeah, it's going to be a great time. I mean, Dancing Rabbit, they call it the Augusta. You can play. We've got the Azaleas course and the Oaks course. Some great room rates that expire tonight, by the way. So if you haven't jumped on the discounted room block, tonight's the night to do it. Go to our tournament information page. You can get on those. But yeah, going to be a great way to kick off the 2024 season. I approved the proof for the T gift today. I'm pretty excited about that. Partnering with I'm not even gonna say that, so it'll be fun. Let everybody be surprised. And then looking forward to talk to majors. One that's become a staple on our tour, and I'm sure will be a staple for years to come. The Myrtle Beach Holiday Classic, December 2nd and 3rd, down at the beach. We're going back to the beach, but to two just fantastic golf courses in True Blue and Caledonia. So why don't you talk a little bit about that, Phil? I know you're excited. The field's a little over half full, so we can only take 120, and once it sells out, it's gone. So you want to jump on that one early because it's going to sell out. It does every year.
Yeah, exactly. Again, True Blue and Caledonia down in Follies. It is two phenomenal golf courses. Again, the overseed will be in bloom for it. The courses are in great shape. And again, they're both Mike Strantz design courses, but are not like Mike Strantz design courses. Right. Two very distinct courses. One a little more wide open, where another one's a little more, into the with the tree line fairways and stuff like that. So again, just two very distinct golf courses. One a little more wide open, where True Blue you can it's a bomber's paradise, I call it. And thanks, Joe, for not coming down. It gives us some other players in Division II a chance. But that was fun. We had a great time. I was in the final group last year with Joe Arnold, and Chris Denz, and I'm trying to remember the last other person. But it came down to the final hole, and we were again, three players had a chance to win on that last hole, and Joe made a phenomenal. I think it was a birdie on the last hole to capture the victory. Quite a lot of excitement. And the 18th green at Caledonia, if anybody recalls that, sits right outside the patio of the clubhouse. And there was a lot of, I would say, cheering, jeering, or a lot of betting going on for players that made it over.
I don't know what you're talking about. I was in the mix of that, and I didn't hear any gambling or.
Oh, okay, yeah. It might have been just some of the upstate players.
No. That was, I think, pretty much the back. I mean, the back patio at Caledonia, where everybody will finish up on Sunday, is a really cool spot. Two really great golf courses. Caledonia's on such a smaller footprint, a masterful design, shotmaker's golf course. And like you said, True Blue is a lot of fun. It's just swing driver, hit it as hard as you want, go find it.
Yeah.
So it's a great championship layout because it doesn't really favor either type of player. So you're gonna have to golf your ball one day, and the other day you're just gonna have to hang in there and make putts. And so it'll be a lot of fun. So two coming up. We've got the rest of the majors are pretty much ready to post. I know Chris has been working on them the last couple of days. We've been scrambling around trying to get everything ready for the 2024 season, make sure everything's good. So those will be coming soon. We can certainly continue to talk about some of those as we get later on the night. But first, we're going to jump into some of the rules changes. And so we've got a message from our friends at Blue Tees. And then we'll be right back, and we'll kind of just go through some of the changes and have some open discussion. So stay tuned. So I got to tell you, Phil, I opened up their new product that we ordered back at the PJ show that just shipped, the speaker with the GPS, and that thing is legit. That thing is super cool. Runs off an app. Gonna be a really cool thing. We got it limited, and we've got some of those players coming too. The other one that is the handheld you can put in the cart. We've got some of those coming as well. Really cool and innovative ideas from Blue Tees, and so it's always fun to see what those guys are up to, and looking forward to continuing to work with them through the Blue Tees Hole in One Club. And we've got some other stuff potentially in store for 2024 with them as well. Of course, keeping with tradition, I can't talk about any of that yet, but you'll have to stay tuned. You tell me not to break from tradition. You say I talk too much about stuff, so I'm being quiet.
Yeah, no, again, the one thing I like about Blue Tees, again, they're constantly innovating, again, bringing out new products, kind of goes well in line with what we do here. Again, never settling, always improving. Again, we've spent the last, probably 2 months looking at rule changes, additions and subtractions to our rules, the member manual, how to make it a little more streamlined for our members. So again, it's always about improving, never staying stagnant. So that's why I like working with those guys.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I think it's a good transition as we get into some of the rules. I'll let you fire off some of the things, and we'll just have an open discussion. I'm just going to go off the cuff tonight, so I'm sure you're more prepared than I am on the member manual. I can certainly pull it up. He's got notes. Perfect. I knew you would. That's why we work well together, ladies and gentlemen.
No, the notes are blank.
The notes are blank. Well, you've got a multiple monitor to pull up the member manual and go through it. I mean, certainly we know it pretty well at this point. But getting into some of the rules changes, it's kind of funny. I want to set it up this way. And, the last couple of weeks, I've had probably 20 people come up to me and just when we're talking to say, you look exhausted, whether it be members or people in our hometown. And I was thinking, the answer is I'm absolutely exhausted. And because we haven't stopped. And, it's one of those things. I think we're in a time in the golf world where organizations pop up like every 5 minutes, I feel like. And so getting back to, we're talking about the first major rewrite of our member manual since we were founded, right? And so getting back to some of the things that we wanted to protect, that are our core values, and we haven't stopped, and we've continued to look at certain things, things that affect the player experience. It kind of, one of my pet peeves, certain people, like, well, let's call them the haters, and I'll acknowledge them for a minute. They like to throw well, that's not by the players for the players. Like, bro, you don't even understand it. It's totally okay. But I think you will starting through this. Like when we started this tour, it was about the player experience. This was about fair play. It was about camaraderie. It was about providing a professional level competition for those who can't experience anywhere else. And the thing I'm most proud of our team, a special shout out to Matt Fegley, our handicap committee chairman, Tim Harbin, Joe Smolero. They've spent, and our player reps, obviously Joe's on the call tonight. I don't know if Joe wants to be identified as being on the handicap committee some days. But Matt Miller from Charlotte, they've done a ton of really, really good work on this to really make this dream a reality. I'm super proud of them. And it all stems around is when you come to our tournaments, we want you to, number one, know that the field is going to be fair, right? You're going to be playing against people of your skill level, and we want to protect the camaraderie. We want to protect the competition, and we want to make an experience that you can't get anywhere else. And as we rewrite, just know from the very beginning, we're not perfect, but that's what we're trying to do, right? In everything that we do. And in over 3 years of tracking data and looking at things and studying data, we've seen trends in areas that we're trying to clean up. And so, we've had some ideas that have needed tweak that we think are good ideas. We've continued to innovate and raise the bar. We're not looking at what other people are doing. We're looking at, the data of our over 5,000 members that, have joined our tour in the last 3 years, and how can we make everyone's experience better? And, I'm pretty proud of our team. I've just got to say it, Phil. So
yeah, no, the volunteers that work on our handicap committee, again, the player reps as well as the chapter owners. Again, we can't do it without them. The amount of work and effort that went into vetting the players for the North American Championship, that was a huge undertaking. And then looking at all the new members that we have coming in this year. Every new member is being looked at. Research is being done on them. Returning members are being looked at. Again, this team works extremely hard. And again, here we are only 1 week into the season. And I think I moved.
It's so much. It wasn't that. I mean, we came in starting this thing doing research, right?
Mhm.
But we've learned, right? There's people that slip through, and we've learned. Like, I'll be honest. I mean, you're in the process of it. I've gotten certified with the USGA for handicapping, so understanding how it works, getting involved with them, to understand the system and how it applies in the APT model and how we look at USGA indexes, how we look at APT indexes. We're doing the research, come up with some really really cool things. I think the first and most important thing that is primarily, and I'm putting the chat on here to see. I love Mike Wilkins. He said new hashtag absolutely exhausted. That is great, except I am way more excited than exhausted. So absolutely excited is going to stay for a while. But the first thing is if you're new coming into the tour, just give us the 12-month low of your USGA handicap index or your 18 birdies index, or and just flight yourself by that, because that's what we're going to flight you at in 99% of circumstances. A lot of people come to these amateur tours and there are a lot of them, and people play multiple all the time, and that's awesome. But we're working to make sure that everybody's in the correct division on our tour. And so if you're a 9 handicap, you need to play in Division 3. Don't sign up for Division 4. And if you're a 3 handicap, don't sign up in Division 2. You know what I mean? We're putting people in the proper division. I think that's important. It benefits you to have a USGA index in our new system, because where there's doubt, we're going to be looking at other data. And so having other data in the system being accurate, frankly, will help you, unless, obviously the data shows that you should be in another division. However, if you don't have it, you're not going to get the benefit of the doubt. So it's very important to be posting your scores. And just to say this, I love how we, I'm trying to think how to say this. If you want to say you're a plus handicap on your USJ index, you get to play in Division 1 for as long as you have a plus index. I don't care that you shoot 83 in our tournament every week. You can stay in Division 1 if you have a plus index. So if you want to have a vanity index, so you can go play in a US Open qualifier, US Amateur qualifier, you also earn the right to compete in our Division 1. So there it is. I said it.
No, and it's true. I mean, again, we want it to be fair. And the last thing you want is for guys that are, veterans of our tour. Players will look up players in the GIN system and stuff like that, and they'll find it for us. And the first thing they'll ask is, "Hey, why is this guy on my flight? He's got a 6-point something GIN. Why is he in Division 4?" And that's the thing that we're weeding out. We will weed those people out very quickly. I think our handicap committee is reaching out to all the players that do not have world handicap numbers or GIN profile numbers, and trying to get it into their profiles, so they're all in there. Again, it's just big for us to be competitive and to be fair. And yeah, exactly, like Chuck just said, have to protect the field, and that's what we're doing.
Yeah, and we've come up with a good process for those that don't have world handicap numbers to really place people in the correct division, based on potential, and have strict measures in place to protect the field for new players coming in. So Jesse has a good question. And going back to posting APT tournaments to GIN, the answer is no. Currently, as we're cleaning up the data in our system, once the data is probably fully cleaned up, we can look at it again, to posting those rounds directly to GIN. But because our system was around in all franklyhood, and the biggest issue is St. Louis. It's been around since before the World Handicap System was around in blue golf. A lot of the numbers in the system are old non-WHS numbers that are now connected to random golfers in different areas. So as we're purging the system of that, and then working through a couple other challenges, if we can address those, then certainly we will be posting back to Jen, but we'll let everybody know before we do that. So there's that. But
Yeah.
I think that's an important change.
Mhm.
You know, a lot of people question, you know, from the beginning, talking through the process of how players get validated. What does it mean when a player's validated? All of those things. And so, you know, the one thing that's written in the member manual is we have the right to, if we have reason to move someone, we're going to move them if it becomes necessary. So we've had lots of people try to cheat the system in different ways over the time, and we've tried to put put things in place to limit that. I think one of the rules that's going to help. I know a lot of people have talked about the promotions late in the year. Nobody likes them, including us. We hate them, especially running a chapter. There's nothing worse than having to call one of your players and tell them that they're promoted with a tournament to go after they've worked hard all year to put themselves in the player of the year race. So this is probably one that I'm most excited about. This is something Jody and I had talked about forever when starting trying to figure it out. Now that we have a handicap committee doing the work that they're doing. You know, beginning on July 9th, which a lot of things that happen and the tour is going to, towards the end of the year, is all going to happen on July 9th. So that's kind of the date. If you read the member manual, July 9th is when registration is going to open up for the North American Championship. All the qualification gets done, but also starting July 9th, we're going to have a 2% flight lock for all divisions. So one of the things that's exciting about this manual is we're looking at Division 2 differently than we're looking at Division 5, because frankly, the data shows that we should look at Division 2 very differently than we look at Division 5. And so it's a 2% flight lock, which means you're going to have a 2% variance that you can go below the index and not leave the flight after, or leave the division after July 9th. So in Division 2, it's small. It's a 3.4 is the buffer. Division 3, it's 8.3. Division 4, it is 13.2. In Division 5, it is 18.1. Doing this off the top of my head, so I'm looking at Phil like, correct me if I'm wrong. However, there is a caveat to that, and this one's important. And we put this in. It's there to protect people that are supposed to be in that division, and then they're just playing well. It's not there to protect someone who should have been promoted a long time ago. So when you get into the flight lock, we're going to look at three things. You're going to trigger a review. If your GIN is more than 2 shots below the division floor, you're going to get moved. You've already shown the potential that you should be playing in the other division, and you're going to go ahead and get promoted at that point. If you're playing in a more competitive division on another tour where we have the data that you're already shooting scores that you're not supposed to be in the division that you're in, you're going to get moved. So, and if you've requested a relegation in the last 12 months, you're going to get moved. One of the things you give up when you choose to relegate to a weaker division is the ability to be protected by the flight lock. It's one of those things. The goal of the tour is to continue to get better and play in the division where your potential puts you in, and we are going to very succinctly and aggressively protect that, because I think it's key to our players having a great experience. What do you say, Phil?
Oh, absolutely. No, it's a change. Again, it's one that went through a lot of discussion, a lot of iterations. And again, between our committee and ourselves, whatever, we came to consensus that we feel like that this is the way to go this year, and that's what we're implementing. So again, we're all behind it from a leadership standpoint, and I think it's gonna play out well.
Yeah, absolutely. I think Nathan Frazier, he's on Facebook. So if you're watching YouTube or Twitter, I'll bring his question up. I think this is a great question for someone who understands handicapping. He says, what about PCC on the rounds that are APT rounds? I think that's very interesting. So from an APT handicap index, it's something we've talked about. Phil and I have talked about it quite a bit. For those that don't understand what PCC is, it's playing conditions calculation. And so it basically judges based on a round. Once 8 rounds are posted at a golf course, it adjusts those rounds accordingly, for anywhere from plus, I think it's plus 1 to -2. I'd have to look. I've got it written down. The hard part for doing it for tournament index is just how do we do it consistently and fairly. The USGA hasn't shared their formula for how or why they do that at this point. Certainly, if APT rounds are posted to Gen, and it's one of the challenging things of the system is if the round isn't posted by midnight, it won't post with the PCC calculation. So based on the API between Blue Golf and the USGA. So that's something we're trying to, I was right, +1 to -2 variance. So perfect. Something certainly as technology improves that we would love to do. Certainly we all have the golf courses that play easier or more difficult. And so we recognize that, but certainly looking for better ways to do it. So.
Absolutely.
So Alan's asking a great question. So bring that one up. I'll let you answer that. And so if my Gen's 11.5 and my APT tourney index is 15, am I being moved to D3?
The answer is no. You're not.
So if you are validated, so once your index is validated, which is 7 or more rounds, then we're primarily looking at your tournament index, right? Tournament scores are going to always be more valid than a score that doesn't have, the safeguards. Anybody can post anything to Gen at any time, which obviously Gen puts, the USGA puts a lot of rules around it, but they're never followed, right? However, if you get in the flight lock situation and your Gen's 11.5, you're in this situation 11.5, you'd be safe. But if you were 10.5, you would be moved to Division 3 in the flight lock. So anytime we move you, we're looking at every piece of data. So where it's important is if you get in a flight lock situation, if you request a relegation, we're going to look at all relevant data at that point. And the reason we do that is moving back a division isn't to help you from slumping. So
right. And there's the other things we're going to be looking at too. If players are playing, at the start of the season and then they take a break for 2 or 3 months, and somebody comes back and shoots a good number, whatever, we're going to take a look at Gens or look at all available data because it's possible if somebody's been improving, got lessons and stuff like that, and been playing and marking their scores in Gen, and you can see that their index is improving quite rapidly. Even though they're validated, again, our handicap committee has the ability to point something out, for us and make a change if necessary.
Yeah, I think it's important. I mean, a lot of what our handicap committee is doing is common sense stuff, and so we understand that it's an investment to come, especially to our nationals or a major event, and you want to be confident that you're playing against people that are of a similar skill level. And unfortunately, there are people out there that want to take advantage of it, and so we're putting in strict measures in place. And I will tell you, if you sign up, if you have a friend that's thinking about signing up, and you lie about your handicap and we catch it, you are going to be disqualified. If you show up at one of my tournaments in St. Louis as a 1.5 Gen and you're not validated, you walk in off the street and I don't find it because you used a different name or something like that, and it comes out later, you will be disqualified and you will not get your money back. So don't do it. We will not treat you as someone we want to return. So be warned. I'm just saying, I'm not trying to be mean about it, but It's one of those things. There's somebody tries it every year. We'll do everything we can to catch it, but when we catch it, it is just way better for you to not lie about your handicap, because we will not treat people trying to cheat the system well.
Well, again, it goes down to, with well over 5,000 members, that we're trying to protect. If we piss off one person by disqualifying them, so be it. We got 5,000 members that we're trying to, do the best thing we can for. So, again, we'll get rid of sandbagging that way. And again, just make it better for everybody else. So,
yeah, absolutely. So, some exciting changes there. Certainly, the relegation process. I was hoping Fegley would be on to talk through. Being relegated isn't a right, as is in some tours. It isn't, hey, my index gets to X, I can go back. We've implemented a tier system. It's kind of like getting your amateur status back a little bit to go back in a division. So the more potential you show, the harder it is for you to be able to go back. So it'll be relatively easy for the guys that, just go barely under and have never done anything in their new division and truly probably don't belong there. They just got in a hot streak. It's going to be very difficult for somebody who has showed the capability to play and win at the next division to be able to go back. So a relegation or a demotion, as we've called it in the past, isn't a slump buster. It's not meant to be that. We are going to ask that our players play in the division where their potential has them. So
yeah, Mac McMillan put a great point on in the chat. Again, the point of this is to embrace competition on your skill level. And that's absolutely true. Again, that's what we want. We want people to try to compete at the highest level. And again, if you're a Division 4 player, that's what you're competing against. Okay. If you can shoot in the low 80s, that's a hell of a day for a Division 4 player, and again, as Max said, we want people to embrace that, not duck it, but just go after it.
Yeah.
We've had a lot of good competition. Mac plays on our Triad Tour. He plays a lot of my events in Charlotte. Whenever I go up there and play a lot, we have a lot of banter back and forth. And I know the guy is always trying to be his best at all times. He may sometimes indicate that he wants to move back to D3, but we know that's all just in jest, because he can play in D2 with the best of them. So, so that's what we love.
No, absolutely. And, I think the trade-off to these rules that we're talking about is once you're validated, you don't have to worry about getting DQ'd for anything. So if you're in Division 3 and you're validated and you shoot the round of your life and shoot 73, 74, you're going to get moved to D2 after the round, but we will give you the trophy if you're validated. So, however, if you come in off the street and tell me you're a 10 handicap and do that, we're going to have a different conversation. So we certainly will protect the field, but for those who are our members and validated in their tournament indexes, you don't have to fear disqualification because you shoot too well. And that's was kind of an unwritten rule this year. We've put it in writing so everybody can calm down a little bit. You're not going to get DQ'd if you're validated for shooting a great score, as long as you're validated. So coming in off the street, different story. But I think overall some great changes. What do you want to talk about next? Should we go to points, Phil?
Yeah. I think do we got something teed up with Chris for a little break?
Yeah. Well, real quick, I'm going to answer Nathan Frazier's question. Another great question in the chat. You're validated after your 7th tournament round. So within the last 12 months, is that what it says? I didn't write that piece. You wrote
something like that. Yeah.
So cool. Chris, take us to a quick break and then we'll talk about points. Telling you, I love me some turtle soup. So quick story from the North American Championship. When you guys were at the par 3, Phil, I was able to play golf.
Not working with
the president.
Not working with us.
I know, but I was playing golf with Andy, and I was giving him a hard time because he's in his own commercial, Hidden Golf Shots, And he very succinctly showed me why. Dude has some of the best hands I've ever seen. And I've seen a lot of great golfers over the years, and he's really, really good. Dude got up and down out of a trash can like at least 10 times during that round. It was insane. But anyways, points.
Lots of changes.
Yeah.
Well, sort of changes. Again,
really.
something that we have been looking at. We've been looking at it for the past year or two, whatever, and came up again looking at data, looking at how when we're promoting people and taking away points and demoting people and leaving their points the same. I mean, you and a bunch of other people did a bunch of research on the point values, and we came up with a difficulty factor, I guess it is, or a competition factor.
Yeah, I mean, the simple piece for everybody is you get 100% of your points when you get promoted, and you keep 100% of your points when you get demoted.
Simple as that.
There's the simple.
Yeah.
So yeah, when Phil's talking difficulty multiplier, I think that's important. Points in Division 1 are worth more than points in Division 2, or worth more than points in Division 3, and so on and so forth. I think that's an important distinction. And so for those of you that are tweeners that are wanting to think about moving up, it actually is to your advantage to move up when you can, as opposed to waiting until you get promoted. Because you can go start playing for more points in your new division. You're going to be more competitive in your player of the year race, things like that. So it makes sense. We've been talking through it, working through the model. I know we were trying to roll it out. Then finally a late night call. I've got to throw a shout out to Phil Kakamies, because he's probably the craziest numbers guy I've ever talked to. And I was like, Phil, I'm close, but I'm just a little bit off. And he's like, 5 minutes later, we had the thing. We ran 3 tests, and we're like, okay, this is working. So really smart dude. Looking forward to that piece of it, figuring out the difficulty multiplier. You're going to see some numbers. They're not whole numbers. So just understand, for it to work how it needs to work, the numbers need to be what they are. So you'll get used to it, but it's not going to be the comfortable, you win, you get 100 points, you get second, you get 90 points, because the difficulty multiplier might be 3.6 or 5.75. There's a reason for that. We were creating scales, and it's meant to simulate the data that we came up with, that we've seen over the last couple of years, looking at people that have been promoted, been demoted, what they would have done. We've ran simulations of their scores had they played, and essentially the whole goal is for them to be so I think I'll say it. What would their points have been had they shot the same scores in the new division, keeping into account tees and all that good stuff. What's up, buddy?
Hey guys, how are you?
Good.
Good.
Surprise guest again.
Oh, I'm just popping in to fix all the stuff y'all have gotten wrong.
Floor's yours, Jody. Go for it.
I'm out.
No, I'm good. I was just checking in. Sorry, I got home a little
My
bit.
wife's cooking dinner right now, so if you want to take over, it's starting to smell pretty good. So I'm happy to run upstairs.
I was running a little late this evening for a little bit.
No, it's all good, man. It's always good to see you. So, but yeah, talking about, like we were talking about the other day, we're sitting here October 12th. We're 2 years, 11 months, and 2 weeks into this. So how does it feel?
When you say it like that, it doesn't seem like it very long.
I know, right? It doesn't.
Of how all the work that we've done. The biggest thing about starting an organization of different chapters and chapter owners, and then all is you don't know what you don't know. One of the things I think that you and I have been really good about, it attracted us to each other in the beginning, ability to flex and pivot and really make change and actually find a way to implement it and pull it off. Every little person that train ride with us with Phil and all the different moving parts parks. And look, the relationships that we made with people are priceless. So I wouldn't trade those for anything.
Right. Yeah, it's certainly interesting. We get was talking about in the intro, getting back this weekend, we get to square off again. Founders Cup version 2. So it'll be fun getting back to kind of the roots. And it kind of brings into the next thing, Phil, we've got to talk about, something that Jody and I had started from day one. We talked through and thought through, and that was the senior tee option. We recognized at the beginning, one of the things that was frustrating me in my old life of running tournaments prior to the APT was that setting tees, knowing that I had guys that were 65, 66, 67 playing in a division with guys that were 30 and hitting it 300 some yards. It made things really hard to try to find one tee box to make it work. And so we're starting to lose people on both sides because if I'd play it short enough that the 6-year-old guys could compete, I'd have a lot of my guys hitting 7-iron off the tee because they're playing 320-yard par fours all day. And if I moved it back to where those guys wanted to play and they had to hit driver, well, none of the 60-year-olds could hit the par fours and 2. And so from that, we came up with the idea of the senior tees. And the whole idea was to keep our flights larger. People like playing in bigger tournaments against more people. It keeps your payouts bigger. And so we've started down this road of the senior tees. And I think after the last change, I think we've got it figured out.
But yeah, we're getting it closer. That's for sure. And again, will it be perfect? Probably not. But again, we'll keep tweaking it as necessary. But the big change this year is that we still will have the senior tee available for our players that are 60 years or age or older. However, the rating and the slope that they're going to be compared against to is going to be using the open tees. So therefore, if a senior shoots 77 and an open player shoots 77, they're going to be rated exactly the same. The differentials are going to come out exactly the same. So yes, they're going to get the tee advantage bump or the distance bump, but they're not going to get the differential bump.
Right. And I think why this is important, I think somebody asked, are we getting rid of the senior tees? And no, we're not getting rid of the senior tees. And and some of the seniors have asked, right? Because we've started talking about it and people have asked. For the vast majority of seniors, it's going to make zero impact. Where it's going to make an impact is, the Division II senior that's sitting in 4 index. Then, if you're getting to the front of your flight and starting to beat up on your division, you may need to make a decision of whether you want to go back and play the open tee and stay in the division that you're in, or if you're going to get promoted and move back and play against a better division, potentially, depending on where you're getting promoted. So I think it's a very interesting concept. For those of you that haven't thought it through, I just urge you to think about it for a minute, because we've been running the numbers on this on our current senior tee guys, and we believe it's a really great solution. So Phil, what do you got to add to that?
No, again, only time will tell. I mean, again, our first tournaments got posted this past weekend. So, I mean, we're gonna track it and we're gonna see how it's gonna work out. We hope that it's the solution that we want going forward to help even it out. But we'll see. Only time will tell. And if it's not right, we'll tweak it again.
Right. That's the one thing, and we'll continue to listen. So,
yeah,
just not while I'm on my honeymoon. Just saying.
That's fair.
philv@aptgolf.org for the next couple weeks.
Yeah, at least somebody gets a vacation.
So, whatever, Phil.
Yeah.
I call you and he's like, "Well, I'm playing the golf course. I'm playing in 2 weeks, checking it out." I'm like,
well, I'm working
in a month.
Somebody's got to work.
So, but Charles asking, good old Chucky's asking when the honeymoon is. We leave Tuesday, so it'll be fun. So, but then we'll be back, be refreshed, ready to go again. I think that's important. The other thing we need to chat about a little bit tonight, and I know we're covering a lot of rule stuff, is we've got some significant changes to the Global Golf National Player of the Year, and the Global Golf Senior National Player of the Year, and the Global Golf Senior Net National Player of the Year. We've had a lot of questions about that. Different way of doing stuff at our majors, which I think is going to be really fun. Looking forward to. I think we've got some good ideas, hearing feedback from seniors and non-seniors. The first is going to be a separate Senior North American Championship next year. So more information coming on that. Don't ask any more questions. It will be in Myrtle Beach. It'll be around the other. So one won't be in one spot of the country and the other at the other. They'll be back to back. That's all I can tell you right now, though. It's going to be awesome. Second is the National Player of the Year is going to be more weighted on participation in majors as opposed to local events. So you get to count 2 local events, 1 elevated event. We get to count up to 3 national majors, your local finals, and obviously the North American Championship or the Senior North American Championship. So that's in all divisions. So 1 through 5 in open, 1 through 5 in senior, and also senior net. Now, everybody wants to ask, how's it going to work with senior net and the open senior divisions? So we had this crazy idea. We wanted, another thing, Jody, that we started from the very beginning. One of the things we harped on our competition was members having to buy a membership for a regular tour and a senior tour, right? We just thought that was taking money out of our players' pockets unnecessarily and a lot of complications. So we've tried a hybrid model, and I gave ourselves maybe a B last year on it working. B might be generous, but so where it becomes interesting is so how it's going to work. So every chapter is either going to have a Senior Net Player of the Year award or Senior Division Player of the Year. So that's up to your chapter owner. Lobby them however you wish. Most of them have put everything in motion already, so you may be late to the party, but you can do it anyway. So that's the division that you play in based on what your chapter is doing. That's how you're earning your points throughout the year, all of that good stuff. At majors, so we're going to offer at every major an open net and a senior net. Everyone's going to be able to double dip at majors if they want to. So one of the things the open guys talk to us about is like, man, I really wish I could double dip and pay a little bit more money and have a chance to double my winnings. You are going to get to. You're going to have a double dip option to play in your division and also an open net. Seniors will have the opportunity to play in senior net. For double dipping purposes, whether you're a senior playing in a senior division or senior net, you double dip. We're going to run both senior contests at the same time. The prize money is going to be for the senior net. The points are going to be based on what goes back to your chapter. Does that make sense?
One caveat to that: no triple dip.
There is no triple dip. It's just a double dip. Don't get greedy.
A senior can compete in open net or senior net, but they cannot compete in both.
So, but it'll make it a little bit more fun, a little bit more interesting down the way. And the Senior North American Championship, might be getting ahead of myself, Phil, but we'll go there anyway. A portion of your entry fee will be for senior net and senior division at the same time for the prize pool. So everybody's going to be in senior net and senior division at the Senior North American Championship. So,
anything else you want to
Guthrie,
spill?
save that. I want Chris Guthrie to save his comment for your first tee shot. Boo!
it's fine. Totally good. I've already told Team Nashville where me and my partner will be. First group, first tee. We're waiting for you. So bring your best.
Well, where you're
And I've heard that
staying.
Rico wants in that foursome really bad. So just go ahead and bring him, and we'll be happy to take his money.
You've made it, so I cannot be responsible for what brings all night long.
So, Chuck asked a good question. I'm moving right along, Jody. You're cutting out a little bit, so I didn't catch all of that.
No worries.
My Huckleberry. I'm getting into legitimate questions here, boys. That just we win the tournament chapter. It only does senior net. So, from trophy standpoint and prize pool standpoint, at a major in the double dip, there'll be 5 division champions, an open net champion, and a senior net champion. But like if you're in St. Louis or Charlotte, where we do senior divisions, you'll get points based on your finish against the seniors in your division. So, but the prize pool, we're not splitting it. It's not going to get overly complicated. The option to double dip is a senior net and open net, which will be based on Phil. I know where's Fegley when we need him? He figured it all out. 90% of your handicap.
I think so. That's what we said. Yeah.
90% of your validated index, and your index can't be higher than the division you're playing in. A couple other adjustments. If you're not validated, you get the 12-month low of your GIN. You'll hear about that. And if you don't have a handicap established, well, you won't like your handicap. We'll just put it that way. It will not be in your favor. So get validated. Play more tournaments. Chris Yugi, I will show this. Yes, sir. That is absolutely what we were trying to say.
But the points for his senior division will be based on where he finishes against the 50-year-olds in his division,
Correct.
Not where he finishes in the senior net.
Correct. So, and as far as at the championship, we'll get into this. This is a lot to go through, so this is all I'm going to say about it. You'll have to wait to see because we've got it up here. We got to get it on paper still. But yes, you could win. You would be playing in both. But your points for National Player of the Year would go to Senior Net because your chapter does Senior Net. So Wayne has a good question. I'll let you answer it, Phil.
Yeah, Wayne, based on our understanding or the way we're going to do it is this, we're going to run the senior championship just like we do the open championship. So same tee boxes that you've been playing all year long, you'll be playing at the senior championship. No additional tee break for 50 to 59, which I would approve, but some people might not like that.
Phil, just hit it farther. Just saying. Nathan brought up a thing about Cap Patrol. We have met with them, and the question is data points. But yeah, Cap Patrol is awesome. They do a fantastic job. And actually, the gentleman that founded Cap Patrol is an APT member. So, like I said, tees are by age. So once you get 60, you're eligible for the bump. Still posted from the open tee rating, but you're eligible to play in the senior games at 50. The other thing I think that's important, Phil, I'll let you talk about, is the cutoff for moving to the senior tee in the middle of the season.
Yeah, same thing. Just want to make sure that we're fair for everybody. So again, that July 9th date that we mentioned earlier in the day, earlier in the meeting, that is going to be the date that we cut off the senior tee movement. So if you turn 60 prior to July 9th, you'll be able to take advantage of it. If you turn 60 after July 9th, you will not.
Provided you play 3 rounds.
What's that?
Provided you play 3 rounds.
3 rounds, yeah. Yes, exactly. It's just that, again, we're worried about, again, protecting the fields. And if somebody has a validated index based on playing the open tees and all of a sudden they turn 60 right before the national championship or the North American championship, we want to make sure that we're not giving them an unfair advantage. So that's the key.
I'm responding to Chris in the private chat.
Oh, okay.
He'll enjoy that one. So anyways, let's see what else we got to cover tonight, Phil. There's all kinds of good stuff in there.
Oh, I don't know. I mean, we've been going for about an hour right now, so. Oh,
yeah.
Sorry, read some of the private chat comments here.
If the ladies get a bump if they are 60, currently the answer is no, and the reason being is trying to think how to say it.
There's not many golf courses that are set up for it.
That's one reason. The second is women's handicap. It doesn't vary the same way men's handicaps vary. It's I don't know how to explain it without sounding. I'll let you do it, Phil. I'm going to shut up.
Go for it. You're doing a fantastic job.
Yeah. So it's very much more dependent on score than distance. So, I could pick on Steve Daniels for a second. If I put Steve Daniels back at 7,000 yards, his handicap would look a lot different than if we, moved a lady back the same distance, typically, from what we've seen. Unless I'm missing it with Samay, because no matter what I put, she shoots the same score. From 4,800 yards or 5,600. It drives me crazy. So, we love our ladies.
Yeah. Yeah, I know. I think we've probably
They're going to beat the crap out of you, Jody. It's going to be awesome. I can't wait.
Well, I mean, what else is new?
So we got a couple minutes. Is there anything else we missed in the member manual? I mean,
we've highlighted all the major topics.
Long to like 15. That's because a lawyer didn't write it this time. So
you got a slide for the major schedule you can put out there?
I can go through it. It's all up in the noggin, and I've got it kind of over here on the board so I can reference it. The one thing I will say is when you get promoted, if you're validated, you earn exemptions into the finals, the North American Championship, and the signature majors next year. So we talked about, obviously, November 4th and 5th, Dancing Rabbit, 30 spots left. Jump on that. Registration closes in 2 weeks. And then December 2nd and 3rd is the Myrtle Beach Holiday Classic, Caledonia True Blue. The Florida Swing is January 17th and 18th, the Disney season kickoff, Disney's Palm and Lake Buena Vista golf courses. So 2 really good golf courses there on a Wednesday, Thursday during the week. And then Friday, there'll be an event to be announced soon. And then Saturday, Sunday, the Mystic Dunes Classic. So there's that. The 20th and 21st of January. I'm not sure what Jesse's putting in the chat, Jody. You're going to have to explain that in legalese. But February 17th and 18th, President's Day weekend. This has been announced, Rams Hill. The Pacific Desert Classic out at Rams Hill, which is one of my favorite Fazios out in the desert in Borrego Springs, California. It is a stay and play. We've got a great stay and play rate out there. Really, really good golf course. You do not want to miss it. Great weather in February. It's President's Day weekend, so you can sneak away without taking an extra day off work. March 2nd and 3rd, we are heading back to Texas. Just got what I need to get everything posted. It is a resort that is an on-property kind of stay kind of place at Horseshoe Bay. But if you've been to Horseshoe Bay, you stay on property because that's the only thing close anyway. 2 great golf courses down there that the guys in Texas love that place. March 2nd and 3rd, good kickoff to spring break. We're back at Bedford, April 27th and 28th at Omni. And trying to think what else we got. May 4th and 5th. Cinco de Mayo out at Kierland in Scottsdale, which is going to be awesome. Really, really good golf course out there. Also known as the place where Chris hit the shot in the members group. So I've already talked to them about putting a plaque out there in the 18th fairway, and they seem to think it was a great idea. So
is that
what?
Around the world.
We may do like a Friday night shootout. Go let everybody sit out there and hit a shot from there and have like a closest to the pin contest. That'd be a good time. So since it is on the 18th hole. And so we've got that. And then heading back, the signature event in the summer is going to be Stream Song, May 25th through 27th. Do not want to miss that. Memorial Day weekend, 54 holes. June 8th and 9th back in Ambrier, St. Louis. Father's Day weekend at Sequoia National. Man, they're hating on you for the internet, Jody, in Middle Tennessee. So, too bad your opponent's major issue was light pollution. So, last time around,
That's true.
Independence Day weekends. True story, by the way. Speaking of a place that doesn't have a lot of light pollution, Big Cedar Lodge, Paynes Valley, Ozarks National. That's running back. New signature major, July 28th and 29th, little place called French Lick, Indiana, the Dye and the Ross. And then finishing up the season August 17th and 18th at Bears Best in Atlanta. So going to be a fun time. And then obviously the North American Championship, which I don't know, as much as we've talked about it, we'll just say it again. It's in Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. And I'm going to put the caveat on this so people stop bothering me. I love y'all, but just because we're going back a second year doesn't mean that it's only ever going to be there and we're never going to move it again. No one is saying that. So it's okay. However, it's going to be awesome next year because we learned a lot this year and we're going to throw a pretty badass party. Kevin Lyle is a great question. Why is the winnings only $1,000? You can complain to the United States Golf Association, sir, because it's the rule of amateur status.
Relax.
So if we pay you a dime more than $1,000, you are no longer an amateur. So I would post their email, but I'm afraid people would actually email them, and then they'd be bad. So.
Oh, Chuck's
what?
comment. Are we going to be playing the chain?
There's going to be
not as a part of the actual tournament.
There's going to be an option to play the chain. So I don't know why Chris is saying to relax, but I'll be relaxing at Stream Song. I can't wait. The rooftop bar will be open next year. So it'll be a great time. But yeah, we'll do a little par 3 on the chain, have some fun. Any other questions?
Looking in the chat, I don't see anything.
We did not say that. So Tim wants to know when majors will be posted. Any day now. We're working on it. Wayne, Bedford is not invite only. It is a signature major, so there's an early registration process for those who've qualified, but it will open. So it'll open to those who've earned exemptions for 2 weeks before it opens to all members. So next one open for registration will be the Lone Star Shootout, and Kierland will open next. So. Any other questions?
How about Felix in the chat?
So Chuck wants to know if payouts from the North American Championship has been completed. $49,181 later plus skins. Yes, they've been completed. To my knowledge. Phil, you're on Super Seniors. That's all you.
If it's from a tee standpoint, there's still no discussion of adding the super senior tees as of yet. Again, in years to come, who knows, but not this year. And we don't have a super senior divisions for now. So again, unfortunately, we're just going to be going with our senior age of 60 for the tee break and 50 and over for the senior divisions of the senior net eligibility.
Correct. And the question about when will the changes in the member manual be posted? They are already posted. So you can get to them from the Blue Golf side of the website or going to amateurplayerstour.com. So,
To a major. What's his first major going to be?
What?
Is that the Felix?
What's his first major going to be?
Yeah. Yeah, Felix, what's your first major of this season? Are you coming to Florida or are you coming to Myrtle Beach? What's your deal? I know he's coming to Rams Hill. I would be sad if he didn't. So I can confirm we got a signed contract from a new chapter to announce today. Just came through right at the beginning of the call.
Sounds like he's our next guest.
Sounds like it, be good guest as soon as I get back from the honeymoon. So there's that. But he said Omni with rain gloves this time. It's not going to rain this year, guys. Third time's a charm.
That place.
So
Love
good.
that place.
So, well, anyways, appreciate you guys tuning in. Like always, if you have questions, please email support@aptgolf.org. That is the easiest way to get a hold of us. For some of you guys, we have switched phone numbers. So pay attention to the website before you call us. Everything's posted on there, but the easiest way, like I said, is to send us an email to support@aptgolf.org. That way we can get an answer quick for you. But Chuck goes 3 strikes and we still go to Bedford. It is that good. So anyways, but you guys all have a great time. I'm sure Phil will check in with y'all before I do. So if I don't see you, I'll see you guys in a couple weeks, and appreciate your guys' support. So have a great night.
Good night, everybody.
You can play in any chapter that you want. So you get to meet people from anywhere.